41 million copies sold, has been adapted before, but into a movie. This will be a series with Christopher Paolini attached to co-write. Now, with Eragon being the first in the 4-book series, we recently saw a hashtag remake Eragon actually float around the internet for quite some time, and it seems that Disney, whether or not they were influenced by that, has decided to take the bait.
I've just been informed that Eragon is getting another bite at the apple after a really lousy film adaptation. Eragon is back, and Eragon is a great children's story, or so I've been told. Now, I actually know juvenile literature a little bit. I'm still a big fan of the Choose Your Own Adventure series. I actually do study these things at an expert level. So I do study, quote, what juveniles read. Apparently, it's Stephen King. He's actually a big controversial figure in that field. But we'll put that aside. So Eragon is coming back. And what do I think of this from a Tolkien expert perspective? Because even if you skim Eragon, as I tried to do, it's not bad writing, but it is very plain and simple and extremely not grammatical. Even the finished copy I read had tons of grammatical errors. He just seems to love commas. He kept putting in commas all over the place. I'm like, stop putting in commas. There's no necessity for the commas. What are you doing? These are not really well-written books. They're not even original books. They're not even really books per se. They are kind of a running joke in the fantasy community that, yeah, he basically just took a lot of Star Wars, Hobbit, and just mixed it all together. Even a little bit of Dune. There's a character called a jihad. Let me repeat that. There's a character called a jihad. There's actually a character called a jihad. So I would recommend maybe reading these things just for the laugh quality, because you will be just laughing your head off at how he ticks off every single cliche. Even the premise is just so stupid. It's like the Luke Skywalker farm boy finds a dragon egg and he gets a magical female dragon that he has a force link to, and the female dragon and him have adventures and find elves and fight the evil Empire King. And like, what? It's just too ridiculous for words. It's really stupid. The author seems to be a nice person, and it's good that he's getting a Disney Plus series, apparently. He's been pushing for this for a while, so good on him. This thing has sold a lot of copies. Hopefully, he made a lot of money. He's living comfortably, but really, there's not much to comment on because you're like, I guess for the hardcore fans, this is great, but for the rest of us, it's like, who cares? This isn't exactly the Snyder Cut. It's not even controversial, I would say, like the Tolkien adaptations. These are just like, all right, a guy copied a lot of Tolkien tropes. He took a dash of Dune and mixed it together and made a popular hit series. And you're thinking, wait, Wheel of Time? No, no, no. The Eragon. So it's like, wow, is that all fantasy authors do? They just steal like 75 Tolkien and then add in whatever, 17% of Frank Herbert, and then they mix in like maybe 2% originality? I guess. Just to make it in the world as a fantasy author, all you're ever going to do is mix Tolkien and Dune over and over again. But I'm being very cynical, but yeah, I hope it works out for him. I mean, people have this image of Disney being only an evil Nazi corporation, as Daniel Green assures us.
Am happy to hear it, and while I'm not the biggest fan of Disney as a company, they do seem like the right people with the large enough money to give Eragon and the Inherited Cycle as a whole a proper adaptation in live action. I do have a sneaking suspicion though that this will be a rather faithful adaptation. I'm not entirely sure why, beyond the fact that I can't really think of a reason why the Eragon story should be changed too much. Yeah.
Well, despite Daniel's very immature and not very temperate and completely evidence-free remarks. Okay, Disney's evil and bad because, I don't know, I guess they don't have enough gay black people in fantasy. I don't know. Daniel's criteria, what is a good or bad narrative, is kind of weird. I will give him this, though. Within his review of the Eragon, he was pretty critical. I do find it funny he didn't notice the parallel to Robert Jordan. I'm like, basically the same thing. It's just not as blatantly ripping off and copying stuff, but, there you go. So he's got a bit of a Robert Jordan bias, which, it's worked for him. He's got nearly 500,000 subscribers. Clearly, there's no nice way of putting it. Sucking Robert Jordan's cock is very lucrative for him. So, yeah, good on him. We all have our thing we like. I like Taylor Swift. Sue me. I think she's a very beautiful, talented woman. Taylor is so hated on the internet. I would make a lot of money just hating Taylor Swift every day and make a lot of money. But I like Taylor. I don't understand why people hate her so much. Cats is terrible. Don't get me wrong, but she's only a cameo there, so people need to lay off Taylor. So it's good to be obsessed about this or that thing. But let's get to the fun stuff. How much control he actually has on this production, who knows? But probably very little. I'm gonna guess, knowing Disney and knowing the modern stuff, we know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna say it. We all want to say it because the main character apparently is whatever the usual straight white male heterosexual with his, female dragon. Like, wow, we're not even hiding the sexual fantasy very well. Okay, fine. So it's a white man and his female dragon. Well, are they going to stick to that formula? And to be fair, the film did have one black character. There you go. Maybe that black character actually exists in the books. I don't know. I don't care. But I will say it will be fun seeing if they maintain as much fidelity to the books. Because to be fair to Disney, people have this image that as the Nazi racist corporation, they only insert gay black people. No, they do whitewashing. They do whitewashing a lot. I'm just gonna have fun when they do both for Eragon, and the fandom's gonna go crazy. It's like they made him black and gay, and he's got a communist strong female as a female companion. She's not in the books. Why did they do that? Oh, they put in a Chinaman for no reason. They're trying to appeal to China. They're ruining my Aragon Star Wars again. So I'm gonna just have fun either way, because if they stick to the books, I'll make fun of it, because these books are so lousy. Just reading a couple paragraphs, you're gonna have brain seizures. Like, oh my god, this isn't writing. This is like a really bad algorithm or AI program gone horribly wrong. This is like something out of Westworld. I'm not even joking. Just, even reading these passages, I couldn't stop laughing. I'm like, I hope this guy has gotten better, because he seems to evidence like zero writing talent. It's just like, okay. I mean, the mythology seems to be self-consistent. That's good. But that's about it. It's just really silly time. So whether they stay faithful or not, this is just laughable either way. But, good on him. I hope he makes a lot of money. I hope the cast gets good paychecks. I hope Disney as a fascist corporations become more evil and fascist and powerful, because either way, this is going to be a laugh riot, even if they stay faithful or not faithful. And that's all I can say. But, I do think he's a nice guy, but really, it's like, who cares? Like, Aragon is coming. I didn't care the first time. I didn't even remember the first time. And I watch fantasy. I read fantasy books. I'm like, they made it into a movie? It's coming back again, but this time as a TV series. I don't think this even works as a book, but, we'll wait and see.
Alleged son of a fallen knight of an old order who fell thanks to his father, grows up with his uncle. That is Luke Skywalker, and the fallen knight are the Jedi. And his father is, of course, Anakin Skywalker.